Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Beverly Hills Cop Nova. And as promised in the last video, this is not going to have any updates to the bodywork. Instead, we're going to start out taking a look at the interior, where I've got the seats all ready for paint. The front seat is the same bench from Hearts Parts resin that I used in the thinner Nova, but this time around I cut the slit in the middle of it so that it looks a little more prototypical. I just ran a razor saw down through it and rounded the edges a little bit, and that looked pretty good. But the pattern didn't match the back seat that came in the AMT kit, so I revised the Revell part from a spare kit that I had. So now those all match up the way that they're supposed to. And it actually fit pretty good. I had to do a little bit of trimming down in these bottom corners, and then had to do a fillet along the sides of the seat where it's a little bit thinner, but nothing too major. I also lowered the seat back just a little bit so that it would fit further back in there and give at least the illusion of some rear legroom. So those parts are ready to go, and I will be adding these from Monogram's 69 GTO kit for the armrests and door levers. I do have one missing right here, but I've got another one, so that's not going to be a problem. And then the even more involved bit of work that I did was on the engine. And just as a point of reference, this is what I was starting out with, the Model Car World 6-cylinder. And you can see that it's got everything cast into the side of the block. Starter, coil, distributor, oil filter. The carburetor is cast as part of the valve cover. The intake and exhaust manifolds are cast not exactly square. So there was a lot of cleanup that needed to be done on this. And in addition to that, this particular engine has the wrong oil pan for what I need. In the late 60s, early 70s, Chevrolet was using a rear sump pan. So this lump right here had to be moved back, otherwise it wouldn't fit around the cross member that's in the kit. So this is what I started with. And here's what it looks like now. As you can see, I carved off all of those cast-in details and reshaped the block. I did not add the extra detail back in up here, but since that's going to be covered over by the distributor, the coil, and the ignition wires, you'll never be able to see that. So that's okay detail for me to have missed. Did add in a dipstick, drilled out for the spark plugs. Reshaped the oil pan, not only moving the sump to the back here like it's supposed to be, but also giving it the right profile, including the dimples where it needs to fit around the front cross member. On this side, it's got the intake and exhaust manifolds reshaped so that they all fit together correctly. Cut off the header pipe. I'll just be adding a new one so that it fits together with my exhaust system. I cut off the carburetor, and I cut off the breather cap, putting a cap there from Detail Master. And then once all of my modifications were done, I added all of the appropriate weathering for representing Axel's car there. It's base coated in orange, and then using Tamiya weathering kits, powders, paints, AK Interactive, Vallejo, whatever I could find. I added grease, grime, ground-in dirt. I've got a couple of oil spots there where they missed refilling. Got one there by the dipstick, and a little shiny spot there by the drain plug. So, yeah, that's coming together pretty good. I do need to get a transmission for it, which I've got coming from B&L Resin. I did not care for the one that was cast in as part of it, and none of the ones that I have in my parts box fit correctly. But B&L usually does really nice work, and they've got a Power Glide that's the correct vintage for this. So that should work out nicely. And so that's it. Next up, I will be painting the interior. Once the transmission arrives, I'll get that together and I'll install the engine into the chassis. And I'll be able to move forward with doing the major assembly work. So check back for next week's update, and thanks for watching.